Golden Boy is on a real bad stretch as another undefeated fighter gets knocked out. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Wow, it's looking like dire straits for Golden Boy. Jason Quigley just got stopped by Toreano Johnson, and it was really a dominant performance by Toreano Johnson. And I want to talk about this because this is a bad look for Golden Boy Promotions and Dazn. For one, I'm a little bit confused on the Golden Boy partnership with Dazn, just because Golden Boy, I thought when they signed Canelo, they also signed Golden Boy fighters, right? And they were gonna have some Canelo cards as well as separate Golden Boy cards. But the recent Golden Boy cards they've been putting on like on Periscope, so I don't know if they're on Dazn too. They, at least from what I've seen, I've been seeing stuff like on Twitter where they're periscoping, or Facebook, or whatever the case is. But either way, the main event, not too many people checked it out, is Jason Quigley. He was undefeated, and he just got stopped by Toreano Johnson. I think he did all right in the first 2 rounds, and it was pretty much a wrap after that. Toreano Johnson, he's definitely has the better resume. He was in there with Curtis Stevens, and he was holding a good account of himself. He ultimately got stopped. Curtis Stevens, a big puncher, got caught with something late. He's been in there with Sergey Derevyanchenko. He lost that fight, and he just overall has the better comp and the better preparation. The interesting thing is Toreano Johnson, where he's at, he's been plagued with kind of injuries. If you guys remember, he was supposed to be Gennady Golovkin's, his mandatory at one point. And he beat, I think, O'Keefe for an eliminator, and he never ended up getting the Golovkin shot. And he was plagued with some injuries, and he kind of just disappeared. And if you look at his recent fights, he's coming off a draw. He had a fight earlier this year, and he had a draw. It was an 8-rounder, and it ended in a draw. And before that, he got stopped by Sergey Derevyanchenko, who's looking to try to get Canelo or Triple G, right? And Derevyanchenko obviously fought Danny Jacobs and lost, and that's how Jacobs got the Canelo fight. So this is just a bad look for Golden Boy, because Toreano Johnson, like I said, he's coming off a draw, an 8-round draw this year. And before that, he got stopped. So I don't think Toreano Johnson, that plus he's had some injuries, I don't think he was in a position where he was this massive favorite. In fact, people thought Jason Quigley, the undefeated fighter and the prospect, was going to handle business, but it was clear he wasn't ready for this step up. So props to Toreano Johnson. Toreano Johnson also said Jason Quigley, he said he quit in the fight, And about, like I said, the second round, he did all right, but he seemed gassed by the 4th round, Quigley, that is. And Toreano Johnson has a relentless pressure, stays on top of you. He fights the same way. He's a rugged guy from the Bahamas, some amateur pedigree. I've interviewed him in the past. Relentless pressure. And he started unleashing some hellacious uppercuts. And realistically, the fight could have been stopped much sooner than what it was. So another one bites the dust for Golden Boy. And in the span of literally less than a week, less than 7 days, you have all these Golden Boy fighters who have tasted defeat. You had Jason Quigley just again by stoppage. Diego De La Hoya, he got stopped a couple days ago on the Ray Vargas card. Ray Vargas, in my opinion, didn't look that great against Kameda, and it was subjective, I guess you could say, who won the fight, or how good Ray Vargas looked in doing it. And then Rocky Hernandez and Alberto Milane, he's an Olympian. He just lost tonight too. Milane was an Olympian from Argentina, I believe, and he lost. So that's Milane, Rocky Hernandez, Diego De La Hoya, and now Jason Quigley. That's not a good look. That's undefeated prospect, and most of them got stopped except for Milane, And then on top of that, Ray Vargas didn't look, I wouldn't say look great. People were even saying Kameda fought more of a quote unquote Mexican style, and Ray Vargas was just trying to stay away and run and all that. Before that, they had Machado, who had, some impressive victories and stuff, and he lost against Andrew Cancio, who I don't think is as marketable, because Machado, he's Puerto Rican heritage. He was with Freddie Roach in the Freddie Roach gym, and then they had a rematch earlier this year, and he lost again. Andrew Cancio, he doesn't have as attractive a resume as Machado. Machado was undefeated, and he only had the sole loss to Cancio, and then he ended up losing. And Cancio, I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying he proved it wasn't a fluke. So now Golden Boy is stuck with some fighters that got battered, and it's really weird to see how the matchmaking is being done. Like I'm not saying cherry pick, but it seems this always happens. Patrick Teixeira, this was supposed to be an undefeated prospect, and they put him in with Curtis Stevens, a big puncher with veteran experience, chin checkers. And they put him in. This is a long time ago. This is probably like Canelo versus Amir Khan or something. And then he ends up getting stretched on that card. So Golden Boy has a history of kind of doing this. Like, I can understand if you were fighting like let's say Jason Quigley stepped up and fought, I don't know, even a Derevyanchenko or somebody like Triple G or something like that, Danny Jacobs. I can understand that because those are massive steps up, and those guys have held a good account of themselves recently. But this is an ugly look, toppled with the fact all these undefeated prospects losing, and then other fighters like Machado losing, when they were trying to market him, put some energy behind him, and then also guys like Ray Vargas not putting on the best performances. And on top of that, these cards are like, this was a Thursday night card, so a lot of people aren't even watching this card. So these prospects are getting beat, and they're getting beat on Periscope and shit. Really weird. But on top of all that, the Ryan Garcia, I think, is injured from what I heard, so that's why he hasn't made a return. And they're still building and developing him. I don't imagine they'll put him in with the stringent, like a Devin Haney anytime soon. But beyond all that, you have Canelo Alvarez, and he's of Mexican heritage, and he proclaimed after Floyd retired that he wanted the Mexican dates. And then guess what? They just announced a press release that Canelo's opting out and postponing his fight, and he's not fighting on the quote-unquote Mexican dates. So, and it's because they can't find a quality opponent, even though they know beforehand for the last couple of years, Canelo has said, I want to fight on the quote-unquote Mexican dates. The only reason he didn't fight May of last year is because he failed a drug test with clenbuterol. So this is just a terrible little run for Golden Boy and also Dazn, because Golden Boy and Eddie Hearn, between the two of them, that is what makes up the boxing side of Dazn primarily. On top of that, you have the World Boxing Super Series, and they're having some issues where Nonito Donaire said he's going to pull out if he doesn't get confirmation of when he's fighting Inouye. And then on top of that, Dazn has an issue where Mirat Gassiev was supposed to fight on the Maurice Hooker card, and he was supposed to fight on the Hooker Jose Ramirez card against Joey Dueco, the guy that was rumored to hurt or drop Anthony Joshua in sparring, and then he just pulled out of his heavyweight debut. So, a lot of this is Golden Boy prospects, and again, it's not even being seen on a major level. It's like a quiet fight card, plus they're all getting like destroyed and beat. I mean, 3 of the 4 guys in six days or so got stopped. They got stopped. It wasn't like they just lost decisions, except for the Milan dude, And then on top of that, like I said, Canelo Alvarez, he's the cash cow, and he's not even fighting in September. We don't know who he's going to fight. He was trying to fight Kovalev, and Kovalev's fighting Anthony Yard. I told you the walls are closing in, Canelo, he doesn't want to fight Triple G. Dazn sounds like they want him to fight in Triple G. So it just seems like there's a lot going on at Golden Boy and Dazn, and they're going to have to figure it out because it's a subscription-based platform, and you got to make it make sense to the paying patrons and the consumer. Why am I paying $20 a month and the fights are being, Golden Boy fights are on Facebook or Periscope, and then all these guys are losing. It's just, it's a tumultuous time, it looks like, for Golden Boy. And some people would say it's bad matchmaking. Some people even say it's good matchmaking. I don't think it's good matchmaking to have all your fighters, all your undefeated prospects lose in 6 days. I don't condone like cherry picking, but if they have to step up so immensely that they all lose in that short space of time, that's not To me, that's not great matchmaking. You're putting them in there, or your previous matchmaking hasn't been great. And then when you finally put them in with somebody who has some power, experience, talent, you know, those types of things, this is the end result because they're not prepared for the moment. So I don't know. They're going to have to figure it out. But this is a huge L for Golden Boy currently, and they're going to have to dig themselves out of this hole. Jason Quigley was stopped by Toreano Johnson. Again, it's not even Toreano Johnson from a few years ago before the Derevyanchenko lost, you know, stuff like that. He hasn't even really been super active, you know, and Jason Quigley's getting stopped by him. You know, it's an ugly look. Mauricio Herrera, he also got stopped. It's like, who does Golden Boy have on the roster that's winning? It's like Marlon Esparza, Ryan Garcia, and Virgil Ortiz. Those are like the remaining major 3 guys, because Diego De La Hoya got stopped. You know, I guess you could say Ray Vargas. It's just, I don't know. A lot of the undefeated guys with Golden Boy have lost in a short space of time. Not only have they lost, they've lost bad. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.